You know, one thing I find out about life, man, when you get to a certain plateau in your life or a certain age, there's some things you just won't put up with. You know, I mean, there's some things you, a matter of fact, you just won't put up with and can't put up with anymore. This is DJ Wolf Live. All right, guys. You know, there are people who are toxic and there are good people. And sometimes, lately, I've seen more toxic people than I have good people. I'm talking about regular people who just regular chill, like to have regular conversations with you in an intelligent manner, man. And then you got toxic people who you just can't deal with at all. You know, and they take your joy and whatever happiness you have and just ruin it and just spit on it and just smash it down and step on it. You know, meanwhile you're trying to be reasonable, talk things out, but the other party doesn't want to hear it. They don't even want to deal with it. They don't care, and they'll throw something in their wrench. You ask them a question, they'll repeat a question with another question instead of answering the first question. You know, a lot of times when you're in a relationship like that, it's best to really move on. And you can only deal with so much. If the other party is not willing to cooperate with you, you can't make them. You can't force them into trying to be reasonable if they're not a reasonable type of person. Because that person always wants to be in control, or they always wants to be dominant in the conversation and don't want to hear anything about what the other side has to say, or doesn't want to deal with the issue at all by discounting what you're saying and or belittling. People will do that, especially arguments, man. You know, and my thing is, you shouldn't put up with it. You should not put up with it at all. If that person is going to be toxic towards you, doesn't want to hear what you guys say, don't want to talk out things in a discussion like two grown adults, it's time to move on. You know, it is seriously. It's time to move the fuck on. There's certain things as a man that you should not have to deal with. You know, you're talking about toxic manhood. You know, so that's just another way to say that some of the things that you do as a man, we're gonna label you. And I said it before in another podcast. There is no reason for women to try to, label our manhood or define what manhood is. That is not up to no woman to do that. Period. But you got these women today, man, in 2019, they're emboldened like a motherfucker. They're very emboldened. And that's what separates us as a culture and a community. Because we allow other factions to... We allow other factions to determine who we are as a people. And who we are as a man and as women, as and as men and women. And when you start doing that, you don't have a culture. You know, I know of somebody who told me that his old lady told him that she shouldn't have to work. She had some white guy she worked told her that she shouldn't have to work, no job. And I'm like, why the fuck would some bitch being your old lady let some white dude tell you what she shouldn't be doing in your house? See, this is what happened to our culture. We allow, well, I wouldn't say definitely allow, but we've had people infiltrate into our culture where they influencing our women to try to tell us in our house that we pay for with them in it, taking care of their kid, our kids, and maybe somebody else's, what she ain't got to do in your house. But as soon as you say something about it, oh, you're being toxic masculine. Really? They're using everything against us for just being men. And that's really fucked up. I'm serious. It's fucked up and it's sad and it's effed up all at the same time. And you know, some of us don't. You know, it's just beyond comprehension anymore. Make you scratch your head. Make you say, why? You know. So I'm proposing this, man. And this is for the guys who don't want to put up with that anymore. You don't want to get into a fight with your woman or your girlfriend or your wife. You don't want to do that. They don't want to listen to you. They don't want to be reasonable and sit down and talk. You go MGTOW. You go men going their own way. You're not being violent. You're not arguing with them. You shouldn't waste your time. Plus, it could be a health hazard for some of us. And you don't have to hear that noise no more. If they want to believe what they want to believe and don't want to talk it out and be reasonable about it, then go your own way. You know? I had a relative of mine who recently revealed that him and his old lady been separated for years. And I just found out. I found it out. I was like, really? All this time. Never knew that. This whole time they've been separated for like 4 or 5 years. I just found it out. Never knew. And they've been together a very long time. I was like, wow, well, I've been there. You know, sometimes that's what it takes, man. But they separate. The crazy part about it is they decide to separate and live in the same house, but they sleep in 2 separate rooms. Their kids are long gone out the house, so they have room to do that, and then in turn makes a lot of sense, you know, because he's a much older person and he can't really afford to just move out on his own anymore, and you know the house is paid for. Then what the hell? I'll just stay there. He's still going his own way. He's still going MGTOW. You just live in, you just live in the house with his old lady on separate terms. You know, sometimes that could be best if y'all come to an agreement to disagree. But if you don't, just go ahead and get your own place and move out. Go MGTOW. You know, because somebody, it's gotten to that point, man. These women today is something else, man. And you got these Me Too movements, and they just this year they're celebrating 100 years of the quote-unquote women's suffrage that had nothing to do with black women at all. You know, and then you got these women candidates are running for Democratic office for president of the United States, like Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren, and I think there's a couple others are going to become up and coming. You got the highest number of women ever elected into Congress that just came to Congress this year. On top of that, and Me Too movement, let's put it like this. I found this out this morning. The Gillette commercial, the controversial Gillette commercial that just came out, found out was directed and I think written by a woman. But as they said, it was directed by a woman. Now that's what they said. I don't know that to be a fact, but I had to confirm that. But that's what they said. And some kept telling me, I said that from the first day I saw a commercial. I said, I bet you a woman influenced that commercial. Either Terry Crews, bada bang. And when I saw that, I said, yeah, why does that not surprise me? But if that's the case, I wouldn't be surprised if it was influenced by the Me Too movement too. And they were saying that she had been known for doing those kind of commercials before. Those type of commercials.
I didn't understand what you said.
Oh, not you. Never mind. Don't need your help. Anyway, so it's, I don't know, man. I know it's like the War. You ever see the movie The War of the Roses with Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner? Great film. Not going to tell you much else about it, but that movie was a trip. You know. But the bottom line is, you can't get a turnip to come out the ground by itself unless you grow it and let it grow, and then you can pull it out. You can't make somebody do what they don't want to do. If they don't feel that they want to be bothered with you, if they don't feel that they want to, engage in the relationship anymore, it's time for you to move on. It seriously is. You can't force anybody to do something they don't want to do. If they don't want to do it, fuck it. That's what I always say. Fuck it. You don't have to do a goddamn thing with them. We and black men today really don't even realize. Some of y'all don't even realize you got options, but you got options that you can use instead of doing something that'll take you in where you don't want to be. You know what I mean? In other words, the options, like I mentioned before, hey, y'all can remain to be friends, stay separate, and live in the same place if you guys have an agreement to get along, and do that. Or move out and get your own place and go MGTOW, which is men going your own way, and not even deal with it at all. Those choices are yours. Those are only two I really recommend, to tell you the truth. You don't want to go the other route. You really don't. I mean, I can say I've been in situations where I'm like, man, but I know what's best and what's right for myself and, for my health. You just don't have to deal with that, And if you are like those men who've been abused by women, definitely go seek help. All right, guys. This is DJ Wolf. I'm out.